If you don't mind me asking, when your brother when the shots happened, you were outside. When you got outside, was your brother still alive?
No, when I got outside, he was already gone, unconscious, whatever the correct term for it is. Um, and it's certain details that still like bug me.
Mm.
It's certain details that still give me tough nights of sleep. You
What
know,
are those like?
the details of it being it's cold outside, but I'm not cold. I don't feel cold. The details of the windows in the car are rolled up, and my mother has to break the glass of the windows to unlock the car. The details of his his foot still being on the pedal, and I have to remove his foot off the pedal because the engine is revving. The details of touching his face and trying to wake somebody up, and that's not really there. The details of turning around and screaming down the block, even though nobody's outside, nobody's there, they're already gone. They don't care. Nobody hears you, and just the feeling of everything is happening really, really fast and really, really slow at the same time.
Welcome to the Grief Bully podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Thank you for joining our weekly discussion around grief, mental health, and your overall personal wellness. The Grief Bully podcast will serve as a vehicle to help you navigate life's journey. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share the podcast with anyone in your life that you think it will help. Let's bully grief together. What's up? What's up? What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the Grief Bully podcast. I am your host, J.Nicole. Guys, we are back in the building, rocking and rolling for another conversation. And I'm not by myself today. I do have a guest with me in the building. He is an artist from the area, Terrence McCall. How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Listen, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I know we've been trying to schedule it and make it happen for a little bit now.
Yeah, a little
And
bit, a little bit.
I'm thankful that you're here. Listen, like our platform, the conversations we've been having over the last, honestly, August, I think will be 5 years that we had the show, and we just want to keep having these conversations around this unfortunate experience that a lot of us face, and then what's next? Like, where do we have that outlet? How do
Yeah,
we, have these discussions? And everything impacts everyone differently. So, like, you and I could experience the same thing, and how it will or won't impact you is different than me.
very different.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
different.
So I feel like so actually we crossed paths. We were doing a different show, and I noticed your medallion actually around your neck, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, and you started telling me a little bit of story that unfortunately you lost your brother, and
Mhm.
instantly I was like, listen, you may not want to, but I do have
Yeah.
I do have a platform
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
can share your story, because I think everyone's story is important, and sharing it definitely has power. So you're here.
I am. I am. I am. I didn't I was a little hesitant at first,
Hmm.
obviously. But I got a lot of other brothers that look up to me and stuff like that, and this type of thing you don't usually talk about.
Hmm.
Um, so I just wanted to try to be like it's okay to talk and stuff like that because most of the time you come from where I'm coming from, talking isn't really the first option for things. So it's important for me to try to just be like, okay, like it's all right, y'all. Yeah, you could speak.
Hmm. No, I listen. I respect that to the utmost. So are you the oldest sibling? Is that what you're saying, or
I'm the oldest sibling, but I got a lot of cousins and friends that I treat like brothers. So
okay?
I only had one real brother, but the other people around me are just as much as my brothers as he is. So
No, no, that makes perfect sense. So, just kind of like walk us into your story. I mean, you saying so your brother was younger than you?
my brother was younger than me by 4 years.
Okay,
He passed away in 2021.
okay, so that's very recent.
Very recent, yeah. So and that was a tough thing to deal with. And then like 2 years after that, like I lost my great grandmother. 2 3 years after that, so it's just kind of been like a little whirlwind for me. And just learning how to deal with things. And growing up, I didn't really deal with a whole lot of grief or loss or something like that. Maybe here and there, uncle,
Hmm.
maybe an aunt or two, but nothing really like too close to home. Um, So it's been an adjustment.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, I think thank you for sharing that. And
Hmm.
when you talk about that, we do go through different experiences, and then I was shocked to learn that some people actually haven't had a loss like in their immediate family.
Yeah,
Like when someone said that to me before, I was like, "What do you mean?"
yeah.
They're like, "No, I never have." I'm like, "Really? Like, bless you."
Like
You
maybe far away family, a maybe close friend, a friend of a
mhm.
friend. It's never. Some people just don't got it that close yet.
Yeah, the way that I actually say it is the front seat of a funeral. Like if you've been on a front seat of a funeral, front
It's
row,
very
excuse me, is what I
different.
meant to say. A front row of a funeral. It
Yeah,
is, yeah, it means that your world has been rocked
yeah.
in one capacity or another. And so let's kind of just like go back a little bit if you don't mind. First, what's your brother's name if you don't mind saying it? Just because
My brother's name was Tyrell.
Tyrell. Okay.
Yes,
So Terrence and Tyrell. Okay.
yes.
Gotcha. Just like to, make sure that we,
Hmm.
show love in that
Absolutely,
regard for
absolutely.
sure. So 4 years ago now, or three, 2024, yeah,
4,
years about
3,
that.
4.
So like do you feel comfortable like to share the story or like kind of what happened to your brother or
Um, it was late at night, probably like around 3 a.m., 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, and I was sleeping. Obviously when you got a younger sibling, they're a little hard headed, a little
sure.
stubborn, think they grown or whatever the case. And he was just outside by himself, um, probably on his way into the house, but just probably taking a little bit longer than he should have been. And it was a drive-by shooting. Um, from some of the information we gathered, they thought he was somebody else, and then other information, it is who it is. But you kind of juggle with whichever story you believe, and we try to go from there. But yeah, I was woken up by it, me and my mother, and
Woken up by the news or waking up by
waking up by
hearing
the
it
by the
happen?
shots, and
Wow.
because it was in front of my door. Yeah, so he was there. He was that close to the house, which is why and we were the ones to go out there and find him, and try to get him out the car and call for help and things like that. So it was tough, very tough. Still trying to deal with it day to day, and you do your best, but everybody has their moments where it get to them and things like that. So it's tough.
That's a lot. That
Yeah.
really is a lot. I mean, and that's the thing too is I I just generally like have an idea of someone's story, but not the details. So I apologize if I'm kind of like a little bit, just
No, you're
taking me
good.
back because
You're good.
that's something that you can only. I always say like people say like I couldn't imagine something, and what I've learned along my journey is actually I kind of changed that now, where I say like I can imagine, although I it's not my circumstance, so I don't claim to say I know exactly how you feel, but I have a younger brother. I have
Hmm.
an older brother, and so just thinking about myself or my mom being in the house and then hearing these shots and going outside and seeing that, like I know from that point I'm no longer the same.
Right.
Would you? How do you feel from that perspective?
Um, Definitely not the same. Um, I don't think nobody can be the same after it. Um, it's a give and take, for me or my perspective of it. Obviously, I don't have my companion, my road dog no more. But the person I was when he was here is not the person here, and some of it is good and some of it is bad. The goods are, it's a lot more confidence instilled in me. It's a lot more trust and belief in myself that if something is to happen or something like that, I know I won't break down. I won't be, like just don't know what to do or how to handle something. Obviously, you don't want to imagine it or envision like if something bad happened, what would you do or how would you react? Um, so it's a lot more just pride in myself. The shoulders are a lot more straight. I'm a more sure of myself person, not in an egotistical way or a over the top way. It's just more so I know who I am. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And when he was around and was here, I was still figuring that out. So being who I am now is kind of tough because you wish those people see how you are now, but if they here now, you probably won't be the person you are now because it don't happen without that. So it's a give and take and a tug of war. You try to balance with it. Um, so I try to do my best and just carry everything with honor and carry it with a memory. So
That is so true about the give and take, and I think something could be thought too. And if I'm understanding you correctly, what you just said, sometimes when you go through the worst things or the unimaginable, then you're able to handle things that in the past, prior to the loss, may have been detrimental, may have sent
yeah,
you down a spiral. But now it's kind of like, well, I already faced one of the worst things that could ever happen to me. So is that what you're trying to say, maybe there?
yeah, it's more so like you think what I do if the house came crumbling down? What would I do if the house is on fire? Or you just kind of think that as you grow up and as you get a little like, well, how would I handle this? Or if I was in this, how would I handle this situation? And then when one of the worst things happens and you handle it as best as you can and you handle it a little gracefully, you're like, okay, I understand who I am as a person. I I'm more with myself. I'm more one with myself. It's not more so trying to find who I am nowadays. It's more so just trying to find what can I do. As when I was growing up, I tried to figure out who I am. And I think the mission or the path that I'm on right now is just kind of find out what do I do? Like what's my input so that I can leave somebody something so that they become a better person so
Hmm.
that is better. You know what I mean? So try to take negatives and turn it into motivation and turn it into positive so that way, you impact somebody else's life.
No, I love that. What's that journey like though? Because I mean, obviously that's a very traumatic experience, would be for anyone. So what's that rebuilding process like anyway in terms of that? So like just reframing life, you lost your brother, you heard it, you saw him, obviously trying to get help.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to move forward, not have to, but you choose to, because not everyone does move forward. Actually, after
Nope.
a lot of losses, people do stay very, very stuck for a really long time.
Yeah.
But it seems to me again that you have put some intentionality to moving forward. Maybe not immediately, but
Mm-hmm.
like what was that beginning process like in year one?
Year one. Well, year one it was kind of sticky just because I didn't really understand grief. I want to say I don't know if that's the right way to put it. Um, like initially, like as it like the day that it happened or the night that it happened and stuff like that, and going to the hospital and things like that. Um, it took me a minute to like cry or like s- snap out or break down or whatever you want to call it. Like I was kind of like shocked at my reaction. And then after I got over the shock of my reaction, I had to get over the shock of the action. So like as it happened, I was kind of just like still. Like I'm the one that called my dad. I'm the one that called my aunt. I'm the one that called my cousins. I'm the one that called everybody to get to the house and things like that. And talking to them how I sounded on the phone and from their perspective is just a normal, yeah, this happened, such and such. You need to get to the house right now.
In the same tone
In
that
the
you're
same
talking to
tone
me
that
right
I'm
now.
talking to you right now, and
Mhm.
they're frantic, and it's just I don't know if it freaked them out or whatever the case. Just talking to them is just like I guess I wasn't given the emotion that which made them scarier, which made it more worse for the people, I guess. And then after you get over that, then you realize, okay, like this happened. I'm not going to see this person anymore. This person's not going to walk through the door. This isn't like a dream game scenario. This isn't like a thing you restart or something that's then it hits you and then it's like, okay, then that's when you throwing the desks around and yelling and screaming and that's when it kind of hits you. But the first year is always tough. From me, I can't really speak for everybody, but the first year is always tough. You got your moments where you lash out, and then you got your moments of it's like I'm not gonna lash out. I'm gonna turn this into a positive. I'm gonna carry it that way, put it in the music, put it in something, put it in anything really, just so that I don't do what the initial thought is when you hear, oh, your brother just got shot. Your initial thought is, okay, well, go shoot somebody back.
Mm.
Um, and it took me a little minute to be like, stop or hold on or just sit down right now.
So you did think about that,
Yeah,
like the revenge part of it.
that's the first. That's probably why the initial reaction is so cold, I guess, because my initial thought wasn't, "Oh my God, my brother just died." My initial thought is, "All right, well, let's find who. Let's come on. Why are we sitting around crying? What is we moping for? Why is we all right? Like, why we all in this house huddled up and everybody putting their arm around me? Oh, it's Terrence is going to be okay, or TJ is going to be. I don't want to hear that right now. Like, why we in here? Why we not outside? Why we, you know what I mean? Like talking to my dad. Oh, I'm on my way. It's all right, son. It's you said anything happened, we going to jail. We come on. You know what I mean? So
So your demeanor right now to me, right? I don't know you, like
mhm,
to say that this is or isn't. So part of me, but I'm thinking like, is that a part of your? Is that the thought of revenge and doing that is just because what you feel like you should have done, or like because it just doesn't seem to me again, and I want you to
mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, that this is something that you would do. Like I wouldn't say like, okay, this guy would go get a gun and go and do this. Like I
It's
just.
very weird. It's very weird because it's not really me at all. Like I'm
Mm,
not that really type of person. I'm
mhm.
not really a whole. I'm not really the loud one. I'm usually the quiet one in the background. Um, but when something happened, like I didn't even really feel like myself. Like it felt like I was kind of just on autopilot, or like another me was just walking around in my place while I grieved or cried. And whenever I cried and lashed out, that was me. And then like 30 seconds after me crying and lashing out, it's all right, why we here? And it was weird because like sometimes I could kind of envision myself talking to everybody else, and I'm like, that don't sound like me. That don't seem like me. Like my demeanor is off. My it's just off. Everything's off. When something like that happened, you kind of just get thrown like through a loop. It's kind of like you just was in like an accident, a car accident, and you kind of like spun around, and then you get out the car and you're just walking around. You don't really know what's going on or where you're at. You kind of just you're just walking to try to find something. I don't know what I'm trying to find. I don't know where I'm trying to go, but I'm not trying to be in a car accident no more. So, um, it's a weird feeling.
That's a great way to articulate that and to
Hmm.
express it because again, like I said, I mean, listen, I don't know, you could be a silent like assassin. I
I
don't know.
could be.
Right, you could
I
be.
could
I
be.
don't know. But just like, hearing it, it's just like, wow, like the impact that loss, a loss that close and in literally in proximity and just in relationally, how that could really like change people. And some people really go off that deep end and it doesn't really it's not a thought because it's just like the pain and something to have it. And then
Right.
when you said that you didn't know about like the grief process, so grief is more of the inward process of it. So it seems that mourning is the outward expression. So you may not have allowed yourself that space to mourn initially and just kind of be in that.
That sound better.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think a lot of times within families that does happen where everyone suffers a similar loss of the same person, but then that reaction is different even within families. And I know one guy, he talked about how like it brought a lot of issues because among siblings when they lost their brother, they're like, you don't seem hurt enough, like you don't seem sad enough. And he's like saying this to people, but meanwhile, like he was projecting this to his mom, And he said on the show he apologized for it, but like, cause how what's the audacity of that? Like that's her son,
Right.
but like the way that he felt, and so I think that we get into those scenarios as well. And for you and your mom to have to experience that at the same time, like how was that? Like, were you finding yourself comforting your mom, but trying to like navigate this at the same time, or was she comforting you?
A little bit of
A little
both.
both.
A bit of both. Like I wanted to comfort my mom as much as I could. But then again, like I said, like I didn't even really feel like me.
Mm.
So the me trying to comfort my mom just it didn't feel right. It felt like I was and sometimes it felt like I was like trying to fake comfort my mom almost
Mm.
like that's not why am I like it feels like I'm faking right now. I feel like, yeah, mom, everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna be good. Wait, let's get through this funeral and there's gonna be like it feels like I'm acting. It feels like I'm not acting how I wanna cry just as much as my mom. Like I don't wanna be here just as much as my mom don't wanna be here. Like we shouldn't be here right now. And it's just trying to comfort people and comfort my uncle and he crying and cousins crying and grandmothers crying and you're trying to comfort your family because you want to be there for your family just as much as your family is there for you. And on the other hand, it's also like, why are we all crying? Like, why are we not doing something? And then you kind of just be like, well, I gotta relax, calm down, something, because it don't feel right. It don't feel good. It feel like I'm just on autopilot.
Do you think funerals serve us any good?
I think they serve good to remember the life of somebody that passed away. I think it's good to give that spirit or whatever you want to call it, that grace of knowing that if they are here, if they are around, look at all these people that love you. Look at how many people are here. A lot of times when you hear walking around, sometimes you feel like I don't get enough love or not enough people reach out to me, not enough people talk to me. I don't get enough likes on this picture. I don't get enough views on this music. I don't understand this, or maybe I'm just by myself. And then when bad things happen, and you from the outside perspective, and you look around, you see how many people actually just really care about you, really love you, and so I think funerals are good for those reasons. Um, so I would definitely say yes and no sometimes, because sometimes certain people treat funerals as like acts,
Mm.
almost like let's put on a show. Like it's not about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So um, it's a give and take. I definitely think it's more good than bad in it though.
I never considered it from that perspective that you said for the person that actually passed away, because people usually say that it's for the people who are still here to be able to, like have those last moments, etc. But
Mhm.
I take a lot from that. I think we have to focus more on giving people that love that we can, that reassurance as much as we possibly can while they are here, so
Right.
that it's not as important in that scenario. And I don't know if important is the right word, but that we can rely on it from that point. I only asked you that because I went to a funeral recently, and I was actually sitting there and I said to the person I was with, I was like, why are we even doing this? Like, why are we here? Because it just felt like so torturous, like, especially to watch the family of the person who had passed away, especially his children. It was just like, man, like they are in such a painful spot. And
A lot
then
of
like
pain.
everyone that's present is, you're now feeling that. So maybe if you weren't feeling like you're going to be like crying, watching this family like in shambles is just like so hard to balance and deal with. And then the closing the casket part and all of that, and just like covering faces, it's just like so many things that I know it's supposed to be a sentiment. It's supposed to be like an extension of your love for that person. Like, hey, we get
Yeah.
to cover this body and we get to kind of do this. And then from me being in that situation before, that's honestly in my life, I think about one of the most gut wrenching experiences I ever had was me standing at a casket covering my dad's face. And it's like, but I keep going. I keep still
Right.
going to
Keep going.
funerals. So it's like, what, like, why are we doing this? So that's just kind of what I was asking you.
Yeah, I think it's um I just try to look at it from the standpoint or the spiritual standpoint of the person that's passed away.
Hmm.
I kind of try to take myself out of it. I try to take everybody else out of it, and just, even if you don't believe in certain things, I kind of just look at it from the standpoint. All right, the person that's laying right here, if they're just in this room for like one last time, and they get to see everything and hear everybody talk about them, and
Love that.
everybody gets to kiss them goodbye, everybody get to say goodbye. I just look at it from that person's standpoint. I try to take myself completely out of it, and just leave it at there.
I love that. And with that being said, I will continue to go. Because no, because for real, like I mean, I think it's like you get in a position where you can't really say anything else, like you can't change anything, or in your circumstance with yourself and your mom, you were put in a very powerless position to have that literally on your front doorstep. And then it's like these last things that you can do, then that's maybe an extension of it. If you don't mind me asking, when your brother when the shots happened, you were outside, when you got outside, was your brother still alive?
No, when I got outside, he was already gone, unconscious, whatever the correct term for it is. Um, and it's certain details that still like bug me.
Mm.
It's certain details that still give me tough nights of sleep. You
What
know,
are those like?
the details of it being, it's cold outside, but I'm not cold. I don't feel cold. The details of the windows in the car are rolled up, and my mother has to break the glass of the windows to unlock the car. The details of his his foot still being on the pedal, and I have to remove his foot off the pedal because the engine is revving. The details of touching his face and trying to wake somebody up, and that's not really there. The details of turning around and screaming down the block, even though nobody's outside, nobody's there, they're already gone. They don't care. Nobody hears you, and just the feeling of everything is happening really, really fast and really, really slow at the same time. So it's a weird position. Like it's very weird. Everything around me is moving really, really fast, and I just feel like I'm not moving fast enough. Things aren't moving fast enough. People aren't showing up fast enough. Ambulances aren't showing up fast enough. Whoever ain't showing up fast enough. It's just everything is super fast, but it's just like, for me, it's just taking way too long. And details like that is hard to, for me, I can't speak for everybody. It's hard for me to get over. Like it, as much as I try to be positive with it and move in a positive way and carry it in a positive way, it just bugs me, bothers me. And I've tried to talk to different people. I've tried to put it in music, which is what I try to always do. I've tried to write about it. I've done probably anything that I somebody said you should do to try to do it, and it's like a splinter that you can't really get out, and it just bothers the hell out of me, and it is something that I'm still trying to get out if I could, but we'll see. I guess the next time I talk to you, we'll see if I
Yeah.
get it out.
Well, so what do you mean by get out? Like not have to like relive it as much, or for it to have the impact on you that it does?
I think the impact is always going to be there just because it's happened. So
Hmm.
I don't think I don't ever think you could take away an impact from something because you already impacted. You know what I mean? I would like it not to. affect me as much, but I guess that's part of the impact. So it's kind of a double edged sword, I guess. Um, I'm kind of at the place where I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure that part of it out. So,
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. And I
mhm.
always have to say thank you because it takes a lot. Like it really takes a lot of courage and bravery and just to be that transparent and to experience it. But like I can only hope that by continue to express it, whether that's through your music or conversations like this or whatever it is, that you're able to find some sort of, peace moving forward as you continue to move forward on your journey. Do you know any more details now? Like, do you know like who did it or how or like if it really was an intentional thing, or do you know any clarity with that?
um, I got a few details. Couple details here, couple details there from different people, and
Mm-hmm.
this person did it, and this person did it. And I try to stay away from it because he wasn't just my quote unquote brother. So I think I'll leave it at that. Um, but it's I've heard different stories and different tales, and this got done and this got done, or
Mm-hmm.
this person did this person did this, and I try to leave that to the people who are a little bit more inclined than I am.
Listen, and I think the reason why I was trying to ask you about it is because sometimes, like, because I don't know how people perceive closure, like
Hmm.
if that is or isn't a real thing, if it is or isn't a necessity, like on your journey. But it seems like to an extent you've made some sort of peace with at least not being hung up or like caught up on what you essentially really can't control to an
Yeah,
extent, because I mean whether the person is correct or not, or what your brother did or didn't do, or how it is, the fact still remains that he's not here. And then you and your family have had to pick up and rebuild and navigate through that. So I
right.
was only asking you that because I know that the thing with closure, sometimes I know someone that it really like is tormenting, not even from a murder standpoint, is from a just not knowing the facts of what happened at the end of the person that they love's life. And that could just really keep you in a place of, I've seen it manifest itself in a lot of anger,
Yeah,
a lot of anger, misdirected anger too. And I say that,
sometimes.
yeah, I'll say that because like people who had nothing to do with this are now just like targets because I can't get to this person or I can't change this. So you're just in a line of fire.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's the tough part about like not knowing how something happened, or when or who or where or whatever you want to call it. Um, that morning kind of just takes a turn to where it's those like, well, I don't really care who. It can be everybody.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of the things you got to deal with and navigate with that, especially when it come to like murder or something like that. Because if you get a family member that passed away, being sick or old age, it's still tough, but it's an easier pill to swallow.
Mhm.
Rather than being told somebody took somebody from you. Like, how are you gonna take somebody from me? All right, well, I'm not gonna be the only one sitting around here crying and feeling like somebody took somebody from me. Somebody else getting took too. Somebody else gotta cry. Somebody else has to. I'm the only one that gotta be crying while somebody else get to laugh and giggle and smoke and drink and go out Friday night like nothing wrong for you. You know what I mean? So it's a tough thing to balance with. So I definitely get that part of it.
What has been the most helpful for you? Has it been your music, or what has it
Yeah.
been to be able to get through?
Definitely my music. Definitely my music. Just coming out of my shell a little bit more. I did music for a long time, but I never really had the self confidence to really go out there and go for it or push it a little bit more, be seen a little bit more, go out a little bit more. So after everything happened, it brought me closer to people. It brought brought me a little bit more confidence, and you know, I met Dev and GB and Slice and Nah and everybody else, BG and whoever, and it helped me a lot because it's like, all right, I got people that kind of do the same things that I do, and whether it's media or rapping or camera, drawing, whatever the case it may be, I found okay, I found people. Like not just me, I'm not just by myself, and you know those people believed in me. So it's always a good feeling to like, okay, like I can go, I can do this, and I can talk about whatever because I know these people are here. So it's a great feeling.
That's super important, just the support system. And then it's interesting too because I don't think people often realize the role that they do play in someone's healing, because it's not like a, hey, let me come and support you in your music and provide these opportunities for you because I think it's going to help you through the grieving process of losing your brother. It's just like, hey, I think you're a dope artist and I love what you're doing. But
Right.
indirectly, it becomes like a support system for you, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Because if I wasn't, I don't think if I was making the music and came into contact with everybody, um, it would have been a lot different. You know what I mean? Being in the studio 8 hours, 5 hours every day, or this day and this day, and oh, all right, let's go here. Let me take you to New York. We could perform here, or we could do a show here in New Jersey, or we could do a show there and there and there. It kept me off of the other side of me just being home, and just being home wouldn't have been very good for me. Um, One, because I wouldn't have been in the house, being honest. So it is definitely a very big blessing. I
Wait,
think
what do you mean you wouldn't have been in the house? You would have been like,
I would have been trying to find somebody.
okay, I get you.
Yeah, I would have been trying to find somebody. They were they was gonna have to move me. Um, because it's I wasn't really right. Um, so it was a lot of good, a lot of good. So definitely appreciate them for that.
No, listen, that's definitely amazing to do that. I mean, I think where you were 3 years ago and then like where you are now, like, do you feel proud of yourself or are you hard on yourself?
I have moments where I'm extra hard on myself. You know what I mean? Because being the oldest in the house, it was me, my mom, my brother, me, my dad moved out and moved to a different state, and I remember like as he was leaving, he was like, "All right, you got like one job, just protect your mom and your brother, and you're good." And I was like, "Okay." So I didn't do the parties. I didn't really go out that much. I know my mom was working, so I just tried to just do my music in my room and then just be whatever it is I was trying to be. I don't really know what I was trying to be, but I was trying to be there.
So you're
Um,
trying to live up to what your dad asked you to
yeah, I
do.
was trying to do as much as I can. I just wanna. My one job is was to protect everybody, and then when somebody dies, it's like, all right, well, he died on my watch.
Mm.
So the one job that I had, I failed. And as much as people, oh, it's not on you, it's not your, yeah, I tell myself that too, but that don't change how I feel. I still feel like I failed. I still feel like I failed the job. I only had one job, and I couldn't do it.
Mm. Now, I'm going to say something, and it's definitely going to be with all due respect.
Hmm.
Do you resent your father for putting that on you though? Because so it's like you're leaving for whatever reason. I don't need to know your family
Yeah.
situation, and I'm just trying to again be with all due respect with that. But now I'm going to put that on you. So like,
Hmm.
do you think that you're like what do you feel about that? Like because I think it could be different if your brother didn't get killed or
Right.
murdered. your brother didn't have the situation happen to him. But like now it's like, man, like I got that was put on me. I took that serious. I stayed in. I was trying to be a protector. And then now I feel like I failed the one job that I had. But like, was that fair for that to even be put on you?
Um, it's a little bit of both.
Hmm.
I think initially I kind of felt like, well, f this. It shouldn't have been on me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, why is everything on me? Like, it shouldn't have been on me to get him to school or make sure he get home. It shouldn't be on me to take him with me to go here because nobody's there. It shouldn't be on me to make dinner here because everybody. Why is it on? Like, why is it, you should have been here? You should have did it. You know what I mean? And then after a little while, after a while it goes on, and you're like, that's not fair. Just as much as I feel like it ain't fair for me for that, it ain't fair for me to blame anybody for anything else because it's not their fault either.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Situations happen. People are adults, and things happen to where as though sometimes people move to get better situations so that they can be better persons for
Sure.
them. You know what I mean? So it's not fair for anybody involved, really. So I kind of let that go. I kind of let that go for everything and resentments I feel for anybody or anything. I kind of just kind of brushed it to the side because I got to the point where it's like, all right, well that's not that's not it. You know what I mean? That's kind of more of the anger displacing of I'm gonna put it here, I'm gonna put it here. Somebody got to feel the anger, so I'm
Hmm.
gonna just put it on you. And I kind of got to the point to where it's like, well, he's probably angry too,
Hmm.
so he could say the same about anybody. You know, I'm pretty sure he feel like, well, I should have been there. So he don't really need to hear the you should have been there for me, because I'm pretty sure you feel that if I think that, Lord only knows what you think. So
That is like that is like so powerful. Like
mhm.
I think just that last sentence would could change anybody's life because I think sometimes we do get into that game where it's like the I told you so or the I want to state the obvious when you can take a step back and say, well, like I don't need to state the obvious in this situation or state a possibility because you probably are torturing yourself or you probably are already beating yourself up for this. And just for the record too, I wasn't saying that it was unfair that your dad
No,
said
I
that to
got
you.
you.
I just wanted to know if you took on that perspective or
Yeah,
not
I
because I
got you.
do understand that a lot of our parents and situations and even in our own lives now too, like we're adults, like we gotta the way I've been able to move through a lot of things, especially as it comes to my parents, is my back wasn't against your wall, right? And so I don't know why you had to make certain decisions or why certain
Right.
decisions happened. And if I make things in my life as a parent, then I want to be able to have that grace too to say, hey, listen, like I made the best decisions that I could at that time. But what you said was just like, I don't think enough of us do that, where it's like, why do I need to take my anger, my feelings towards you and like bring you down for something that I'm going to assume, or maybe he told you that I already know that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough thing. I think for anybody, for everybody. So I always try to just put myself in the other person's shoes because I already know what it's like in mine. So you think what the other person's maybe thinking or probably thinking. It kind of always usually eases my displacement of emotions or something like that. I try to keep my emotions in check. Maybe it's because I'm the oldest and I didn't have the luxury of being like the hothead and wanting to fight everybody. Like I don't got the luxury to do that. You can do that, and I'll be here if something happened with you. But um, to carry over, I guess.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, I think the dynamics of families definitely are faced with a lot of challenges when it comes to loss. And if I could see any family get closer or any relationships get stronger through like loss, that's in my opinion anyway, it's a beautiful thing and it's more of an anomaly because I've just seen a lot of just stuff just go left even just from like smaller things like just decisions on what to do with someone's stuff, or what to do with this property or this or that. Like it can
Mm-hmm.
just spiral out of control, and it's like, wow, like, okay, so that family was, so it's like the loss itself of the person that we loved, it's never just like singular. Like if we
No,
only had to just deal with that, not that it would be easy, but it's like, okay,
I can deal with.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
can
can,
try to deal with that.
yeah, but it's all the other stuff that comes
It's the
along with it.
dominoes that happen, and then you, as certain people go, you kind of realize you are a lot more glue than I anticipated
Mm,
or thought about. You know what I mean? It's like you get a loss that happens, and then you think, okay, well, this is a big loss, so it's really about to just bring everybody tight knit and closer together. And sometimes, as people get tighter and more wound up and closer together, sometimes screws kind of pop off because you might have gotten a little too tight. Now you're a little too, not possessive, but you're a little too, where you going, what you doing. Now you're a little too, don't do this, do this. Now it's a little bit more like tension than I thought. Like I didn't expect tension from certain aspects of my family. I kind of thought, all right, well, this is gonna bring everybody a lot closer, and it did. But sometimes when you get real close, you see things that you probably didn't see before, as close as you think you are, and now you extra close, and now it's kind of like, move, like you're a little too close on me. Like now you gotta like back up a little bit, and it put people in uncomfortable situations and stuff like that. So I think everybody deal with things in their own ways, and everybody just trying their best really, because there's no handbook on it. So
no, it's not. And sometimes, and I'll ask you this: do you think like a lot of that comes from just like the fear of another loss, though? Because I have seen that happen too. I'll say for myself, after my grandmother died, I just got like really scared to fly, and I've talked about that on my
mm,
show a lot. And I'm like, that is so weird. Like, why would that just happen? But it was just like that powerlessness of not being in control of something, because I now I'm in the air and this thing might crash out and I'm going to die.
right.
And it was just like before that loss, I guess I had experienced some losses, but like when that person died, it was like, oh no, like all bets are off the table. Like anything is possible to happen now. And
Mm-hmm.
so then I just started being like really scared. Like right now, like if someone called me at a time,
No
even if
weird
it was
time.
during the day, but it was like you normally wouldn't call me, I answer the phone. This is so, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but sometimes I answer the phone. I won't even say anything. I'll just answer so I can hear
Just wait.
if the person is screaming, if they're crying, like what are, and
Mm-hmm.
then they be like, hey, you there? I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, what's up? Like I
Yeah,
have to kind of, because I just don't know what you're gonna say, because that's just how it's been.
yeah. My best friend just recently told me that. It's because we used to talk like every day, and
Hmm.
it kind of seemed like since situations happen, like when I do call, it's always a, yo, you all right? Like, yeah, what's up? Oh, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, like I'm
Yeah,
fine. Like
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a weird thing. Like if my grandfather calls me, I talk to him, but he don't usually call my phone. So if he calls my phone, I'm like, Pop, what's up, man? Like, cause last time you called me, it wasn't good. So it's like it's a weird thing. I think it's just people anxieties.
Hmm.
You know, when bad things happen, you always go to the worst possible thing. So I think that's just human nature, though.
Hmm. No, definitely. Listen, like as we kind of start to wrap up, like is there anything that you feel like we didn't touch on, or something that like knowing that you were going to be able to have this conversation, or not be able to, that you were going
Mm.
to, you chose to, decided to have this conversation with me, that you would want to put out there for yourself, your family, or just someone that could be in a similar situation?
Um, I think I just came to talk and just let people know it's all right. You know, hopefully when you reach out to other people, whether they artists, rappers, a lot of us artists, we try to keep up the tough guy face, or you know what I mean. We don't do too much talking and crying and emotional whatever it is. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, end of the day, we all people, and it's cool to talk about it. It might help, might not, but you don't know if you don't do it. So I just kind of came just to say what's up.
Well, you definitely said what's up, and I think you said it with your heart and with like just true transparency, and I appreciate that, and I definitely applaud you for your courage to do that. If you had to choose a color for your grief, what would it be and why?
You gonna like this answer?
I'm going to.
You gonna like this answer?
Okay.
It's probably like the color of this whole room,
Mm.
color of the microphone, color of the TV, color of the panels. My favorite color is blue.
Mm.
So that's it was strange walking in here and seeing. I'm like, oh, okay.
We're really blued out in here.
Yeah, it really blew it
But
out.
We are not gang.
No, it ain't no.
We're not banging.
It ain't no gang. It ain't
It's
no
just
gang
the color
thing.
of the room.
Yeah, it ain't no gang. I thought Dev knew I was coming, but yeah, that's definitely my color for everything. So you on the right track. You hit the nail on the head.
Nice. Listen, where can we follow you? Have anything coming up? Anything you want us to support? Make sure everybody knows.
Music always out. Terrence McCall on everything. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at Blue Room Tiz. Twitter the same thing. We just working right now, trying to put out new music, trying to put out more visuals and music and stuff like that, and also thinking about writing some books too. So that's a process that we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? But having fun.
Listen, we're going to challenge you to do it because I think you have a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight, your perspective on life, and just the things that you've gone through is definitely like refreshing. And I think it would encourage anybody. Not that I know what your books are going to be about, again, because I said you could have been like a silent assassin. I don't know.
Could be.
No, I'm not speaking that over his life. We are not claiming that for him. Guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode. Drop some comments. Let us know. We're here every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. In the live chat, let us know what you're thinking, any topics you want us to cover. I appreciate the continued support. If you're not following me already, what the heck are you doing? Go do that over on Instagram at I_am_J_Nicole. Guys, so next time, you already know, love and light. Peace.